What is going on, YouTubeverse? John Stanek from Johnny Radio here, bringing you another Top 5 on this glorious Top 5 Friday. And I'm so excited today to be talking to you about my personal favorite Top 5 albums of 1995. Such a great year in music history, and this was really hard to whittle down, but I think I did it, so let's get right to it. At number 5, What's the Story? Morning Glory by Oasis, the Gallagher brothers, doing their thing. This was huge at the time. A lot of people were saying it was the second coming of the Beatles, and you kind of got that vibe, especially with Liam sounding a lot like John Lennon, and the songwriting kind of lending itself, especially on songs like Champagne Supernova and Wonderwall, which were huge hits. Don't Look Back in Anger is another great one with Noel on lead vocals. Roll With It is really cool. That feels really Beatlesque as well. The title track, I feel like there's a lot of filler on this record, otherwise I would have put it higher on my list. But man, if you went back into 1995, it was like British Invasion all over again, baby. So good, but just at my number 5. So now at number 4, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness by the Smashing Pumpkins. I think this is probably their best record. Well, I don't know, Siamese Dream, it's tough, neck and neck, but both so good and just at the top of their game here with a huge double album. I'm going to say something that might get a lot of flack on here, but like Oasis, I feel like, especially this being a double album, there is some filler here as well. Otherwise, again, would have ranked it higher. A lot of you are probably going to have this at your number 1 or 2 in this year, because, just so many great hits like Zero, 1979, 33, those ballads especially, I think, are where he really excels. Like either the ballads or the really hard rockers, like Bullet with Butterfly Wings, so intense, and probably my favorite song off that record. If you watched my top 5 songs of 95 a few weeks ago, you'll know that's what I picked from this album. But yeah, there's a lot to love here. Tonight. I could go on and on. But like I said, a little over long, even though, it is a double album, so I'm giving it some slack here. But yeah, gotta love the Smashing Pumpkins, and that's just my number 4. So now at number 3, Jars of Clay, the debut album by the Christian quartet, Dan Hazeltine and the guys. This is just such a good record, whether you're into Christian music or not. And actually, when it hit the streets, their debut single, Flood, a lot of people had no idea what they were even singing about, because it wasn't, overt in the lyrics. I think Jesus is only mentioned, a couple times on the whole album, but, all the songs are just so strong, from the opening track of Liquid all the way to the end, with such a great ballad that builds worlds apart. So beautiful. Love Song for a Savior is great. There's really not a weak track on this record, and sadly, I don't think they ever quite, hit the peak of how good this debut was. But Jars of Clay, absolutely one of the best to do it coming into the Christian music scene. But again, even outside of that box, these guys it's just great acoustic rock music that I think stands with all the great rock music of the 90s. And that's why it's at my number 3. So now at number 2, Mirror Ball by Neil Young. Had to have this on my list. As you know, I had Downtown a couple weeks ago on my top 5 songs of 95. And again, this album, just from start to finish, so great. And Neil is just, proves once again why he's one of the greatest of all time. This is one of my favorite Neil Young albums. And, Pearl Jam was his backing band on this record. he returned the favor and did some work on their little EP called Merkenball. So it was just kind of like a family affair, and you really feel just the fun in the studio that they were having on songs like Downtown. Also, I'm the Ocean is like this 7+ minute, just amazing epic rocker that has this, just the riffs that Neil have on this record are so simple, but so catchy and effective. And that's another great example. Peace and Love is another great one that has Eddie Vedder on background vocals. You've got Throw Your Hatred Down. A lot of real strong messages of positivity and love on this just rollicking, nonstop electric rocking album. And that's just at my number 2. So now at number 1, The Bends by Radiohead. I mean, come on. This is almost a perfect record. OK Computer, I think, is just a little bit better, but this was like a life-changing record for me when I first heard it. And sad to say, I didn't hear it really in '95. I only heard 1 or 2 songs at the time. Didn't really get into them until later in the 90s. And when I listened to this all the way through, I was just immediately like a diehard fan. Songs like High and Dry and Fake Plastic Trees on the acoustic side, mixed with these great rockers like the title track and My Iron Lung, and just such an incredible song. Jonny Greenwood, of course, we know by now he's just a musical genius on every instrument, but he is truly a guitar hero on this record. And Thom Yorke, I don't think, other than maybe In Rainbows, I don't think he's ever had another album where he's had so much hard on your sleeve emotion on this record. I mean, Fake Plastic Trees, especially when he gets to that ending when he says, "It wears me out." Oh my God, it's just glorious. And the whole band is just in fine form here. The opener, Planet Telex, not a bad song on this whole album. And then, of course, ending it with Street Spirit Fade Out, one of their greatest closing tracks. This had to be my number 1, and I'm sure it's going to be up there on a lot of your lists as well. So let me know in the comments below what you think. What would your top 5 be? If you're so bold, leave me a top 10. As I said, this was such a great year in music, and we're only halfway through the 90s, folks, so stay tuned. We got top 5s every Friday, album reviews, big countdowns, and so much more. Thank you for watching, and as always, Viva La Vinyl. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and be sure to ring the bell for notifications so you can always see great quality content like you're seeing on the screen right now. Thank you so much for supporting Johnny Radio, and I'll see you soon.